Hello everybody and welcome to Pravus Gaming. I am back! Back with more Plague Inc. Evolved, back from Bermuda. That is where I was on vacation for the last week if you missed the last couple of videos somehow, which means you are not a regular follower of mine. How dare you. Anyway, so I figure we might as well come back to the popular tab. I know we've been having some fun going over some scenarios that were specifically dedicated to me, and I might continue doing some of those later. Why are some of these... Why have I unsubscribed from some of these? I don't feel like it should have. Weird. I should totally be subscribed to some of this, unless, of course, it got, like, re-uploaded while I was gone, which, you know, things like that can absolutely happen. Oh, let's see. Age of Dragons, Death Troopers, Spider-Man Violence, Realistic Zombie Virus, Traitorism. There's a lot of new stuff that is on the popular tab today, including some that we have seen before. Assimilation Bugs, Hive Mind. Hive Mind sounds pretty good. We haven't done anything like that. Alright, sure, let's go for Hive Mind. 3 whole months ago, an ancient species of scarab dug its way out of the great Egyptian pyramid of Giza. This scarab has since been evolving and changing, and today it has begun something new. Today a new virus arises, a combination of scarabs and a dangerous disease that was lying in wait within the ancient scarab. Before the scarab died, it laid its eggs. How did it procreate if it was the only one? No one knows. These eggs hatched, still carrying the disease. Oh my god, it's like scarab AIDS? I don't know. I feel bad for saying that, but that's sort of what it seems like it is. It's a hereditary disease here. The newly hatched scarabs are now on the hunt for humans, though they themselves aren't sure why. After plenty of time to adapt to the mind and habits of scarabs, the virus has learned to take control of the scarabs and force them to do its dirty work. Now they wish to attack humans any way they can. You will be their guide. Can't really see the subscribe button because I have a beer in the way. I probably should not be drinking while doing this. Not responsible. Don't do it, kids. Necroa Virus. That's what we were playing today. ATP Boost Darwin, Aquasonic Extremophile, and of course my favorite, Dopamine Inhibitor, increasing the chance of a victim becoming a zombie, increasing your overall number of zombies. What the heck is this? Scarabeidae. Scarabeidae. Scarabs. There, simpler. Scarabs emerge! Guide the scarabs to wipe out humanity in any way they possibly can. You should be able to find a new way to do this, but keep in mind that the key to victory will lie within transmission, almost no matter what. The scarabs have already found a few hosts and begun their attack. Continue to evolve the scarabs and their abilities. Keep in mind they are unable to survive in cold conditions and will likely require some form of mutation to protect them from it. Okay, and we're actually going to start off in Egypt, which is actually not a bad starting location. Compared to Saudi Arabia, it's almost equivalent, believe it or not. I mean, Saudi Arabia is quite good, but Egypt also has 2 ports and an airport, and it is still quite hot and relatively poor, pretty easy place to go. In fact, if anything, you might argue that it's easier to spread in Egypt than it is in Saudi Arabia because Egypt is in poverty. Also, very easy to just go into Saudi Arabia from Egypt once you're there, so no big deal. Anyways, transmissions, we have Bird. Allow the scarabs to latch onto birds in order to travel in style. Oh, and get places they can't without the flying stamina of a bird. I mean, scarabs have wings, right? Presumably? I have no idea. Insects! Are the scarabs going to infect other insects? Yes, it does. It does infect other insects other than scarabs. But it will not be able to affect their minds. Still incredibly effective considering. And this is probably going to be for the hot countries, so this actually isn't a bad idea to go ahead and grab right now. That's pretty darn effective for 4 points. I'll go ahead and do that. We have rodents. Scarabs learn to hide eggs on rodents to cause the rodents to unknowingly carry the offspring elsewhere, sort of like the flea that caused the Black Death, the bubonic plague. Organism affinity allows the disease or scarab to take control of organisms, including humans, to the next level. Oh, we are controlling humans then already, are we? Or does this lead into the zombie? I'm not sure yet. Blood 1. The virus spreads in blood, unable to do so very effectively, increases in poor countries. Water 1, humid conditions, and air 1, high altitude. We'll go ahead and grab that as well with our remaining 6 points because the 2 of these combined are quite potent for a start in Egypt. Symptoms. Arachnid growth. Scarabs grow 2 extra legs as to be able to move faster, thereby no longer being an insect with a head, thorax, and abdomen, but simply becoming a spider with a thorax for some reason. Which means it's not really a spider. What is it, though? I don't actually know. Maybe it's more of a breed of scorpion-ish kind of arachnid. I'm not too sure. Powerful jaws. The scarab's jaws become much more forceful and dangerous, even causing an occasional death. Quite noticeable. Well, yes, the occasional death by scarab bite, especially when there are millions of them, will be very, noticeable, I think. Bloated. Scarabs bloat with toxic liquid and eggs, exploding on death. That is gross right there, sir. Okay, so we have some very early game lethality. That's going to be interesting for this particular scenario because this means that we have to be very wary of the mutation chance. Could come back to bite us in a pretty big way. We do have heat resistance, cold resistance, and drug resistance. Of course, they did warn us that we are going to need cold resistance for the scarabs because they are not naturally evolved to survive in the hot climates. Okay, with all of that being out of the way, now we can talk and have some fun. So how are you guys doing? Hope you all had fun last week. I've been enjoying going through some of the comments in the last week or so. I had a pretty good time. I had a pretty good time when I was off in my my cruise with my wife. A much-needed vacation. We've been working incredibly hard for the last few months, and also my wife is about to start a brand new job, which she's also very excited about, but quite nervous. So this was a good last hurrah before she starts her full-time career now that she has fully graduated with all of her certificates. So this is going to be quite fun for us. Very fun next few weeks. So a little vacation calm before the storm, I think, was highly warranted. Bermuda itself was beautiful, if not exceedingly hot. I had a bit of a hard time with humidity. As somebody who grew up in Arizona and got used to a desert and dry heat, humidity just is my bane. Look, I can handle 110 degrees Fahrenheit. That's no problem. But you give me humidity. Oh, no thank you. No thank you. I think I'd rather die. And I almost did in Bermuda. But fortunately, I was able to recline on a rum cruise and just drink a frick ton of rum, and that saved my life. Let's go for some cold resistance and some drug resistance just so I can have a bit more diversity. Also, even more cold resistance. There we go. Now that we are spreading into places like Iceland and Europe and stuff, we certainly don't want to miss out on that opportunity, do we? No, sir. You know, let's go ahead and grab drug resistance level 2. We're probably going to want it, right? Spreading pretty well through Saudi Arabia. Of course, it's one of the advantages of starting in Egypt. Gets into Saudi Arabia pretty quickly, which means we have access to that airport. Pretty nice. Not bad, all in all. Transmissions, I think we want to continue going for... Let's go for rodents for now, but we probably want to work toward organism infinity, because I am guessing that that affinity will lead to the zombies. Unless it's somewhere in the symptoms. I mean, it could be. Arachnid growth, maybe? I mean, it's very effective. Burst shell. Scarabs attach their eggs to their shell, causing them to burst off one by one at random intervals. Like polyps or something. Is that how polyps work? I have no idea. Anyway, we actually could really use some more severity because we're missing out on a lot of DNA from the red bubbles. Oops, I accidentally double-clicked. I guess we're picking that up. Okay, rapid growth. Scarabs grow to the age in which they can reproduce much faster. Okay, there's a couple different ways to interpret that sentence. They grow to the age much faster in which they can reproduce, right? So they grow up faster, or they grow to an age where they can have reproduction very quickly. Very fast reproduction. There's a couple ways to interpret that sentence right there. So, phrasing and all that. Alright, let's go for the organism affinity. That leads to Bird X. Scarabs will hijack the neural pathways, misspelled, of the bird brains. Of the bird brains? One word, mid-flight. While this doesn't always work out, it is rather lethal when it does, and even infectious. Insect X. The virus will mutate and change ever so slightly in insects every so often, causing confusion with scientific research on a cure. And Rodent X. After eggs have hatched on a rodent, the rodent will be dispatched and taken control of to attack humans. Little biting rats, how dare you. Leave me alone. Alright, we got into New Zealand and stuff. Rapid growth is done. Good, that's actually the least offensive of all the things that we could have mutated. No lethality, won't get detected and cured too quickly. Missing the Caribbean, Greenland, and the Philippines. The Philippians. Oh, they finally detected us. Okay, well, let's see if we can spread through places like the USA a little bit faster. Obviously, I need to get zombies somehow with the necrovirus. I'm not sure where we get that. Rebirth. Scarab larvae will hatch in a hidden pouch on scarabs and spread out when the scarab dies. They're like little kangaroos. They're marsupials. How's that work for an insect? Nobody knows. Nobody even knows, man. Do we want to work down this route? I mean, the thing did say you probably will want to go down the transmission route to succeed, but I'm guessing as a necrovirus, we have to get zombies somewhere, right? All right, let's go for the insects. That did not unlock what I was hoping for. Is it an ability? Is it in the symptoms? I don't know. I think we've gotten everywhere. We just really need the zombies. We've almost infected the entire world at this point, which means we're going to run out of DNA pretty quickly. What do we do? Do I go for more rodents and stuff? I mean, is this necessary? I guess we'll grab some lethality because I really do need more DNA. Demonic force. Oh, okay. That's taking a different route here. Scarabs become ungodly strong and durable, causing mass death in infected hosts. Okay, well, more lethality is good. We got some powerful jaws. Okay, even more lethality. Venomous fangs. Scarab fangs become venomous, causing more death without too much more noticeability. Teeny bit of lethality, not very severe. Apparently people aren't very alert to toxins and poisons and stuff like that. They're working on that cure a little bit faster, but I don't really know what I'm supposed to do, except possibly go for, like, I don't know, the Bird X. I mean, do you have to get all three and then unlock something? I don't know, because there are no unhealthy people left in the world, and I'm not really sure what I'm supposed to be doing here. Wings of the Angels! Scarab's wings are strengthened immensely, giving them incredible flight speed and stamina. Maybe I was wrong, and I shouldn't have been expecting that I should go for a zombie, virus. Maybe I should have been expecting just to go for some lethality instead, the old-fashioned way. Infest host. Let's see. Attached to a host, it will infest the host, spraying with eggs and larvae, causing them to spread when the host is killed. Yeah, I'm not really sure what I'm supposed to be doing here. If we can get some more orange bubbles, I'll experiment, but the mutation patterns are extraordinary. That ever so slightly set them back, but it's not going to be enough. Alright, we've completely run out of gas at this point. There's the venomous fangs. Alright. I mean, we are killing, but I'm not really getting much of anything out of this. This is going to be a loss, absolutely. I'm just trying to figure out where... If there are zombies, I need to know that. And if there aren't, I need to know that. You know? Venomous fangs, not too much more noticeable. Clearly, I was supposed to go for lethality a lot sooner, so that this would not be an issue. Clearly. Alright, I guess we're going to go ahead and have to restart this one. I will be right back. Okay, we've made some pretty good progress here. I actually had to activate the scenario in cheat mode to try and find the darn symptoms that I was looking for, going toward those zombies. It's actually down the Powerful Jaws route. So we gotta go for Venomous Fangs level 1, then level 2, then we gotta go toward Homo sapien Maw. The mouth of Scarabs becomes much more human-like and much more powerful. Very noticeable and very deadly. Not sure why they would look like human mouths, but okay. Neural Denial of Service. Thought it was natural for a second. Neural Denial of Service. Scarabs gain the ability to access and deactivate the brain of a host at any point. Extremely deadly and extremely noticeable. Neural Hijack. After a host has been killed, the Scarab gains the ability to tap into control of the brain-dead corpse and reanimate it, almost like a zombie. Now we're seeing what we're looking for. So yeah, it was a little bit buried. Had a heck of a time finding it for a while, but there we go. Now we know what we're looking for. Of course, now we have to worry about the cure, and we're still not infecting incredibly quickly, but... oh well. Problem, of course, is if you do try to go down any of these other routes to get enough severity to get a lot of DNA from your red bubbles, you get detected pretty quickly, and obviously it becomes a bit of a problem. So this scenario is so far proven to be a little on the tricky side. I want to go down the route where I get the zombies quickly, but even with symptostasis, I'm having a hard time getting enough DNA by the time I get to the point where I'm able to get this darn thing. Can I get zombies now? Turns out I can. Okay, good. So they started working on that cure, and they are now going to cure everybody. Okay, but at least we got our zombies. Let's see how well it works. We did get bloated and chameleon camouflage. Harder to notice. Potentially might be actually an alternative route to try and get some lethality without getting detected too early on. But you can see here, even with all of this stuff, like the severity is quite low. Surprisingly difficult to get some effective zombies. Shell hardening. Scarab shells become harder and increase the durability of scarabs. Now, I don't think we have a lot of zombies, but we did manage to fully infect every single country in the world, so I am hopeful that we will have at least some zombie presence in every single country, which will make it a lot easier to win. We also could be apparently a miracle cure. No idea how you came to that conclusion. You seem to be a fool. But anyway, yeah, every single country in the world is now going to have zombies. We were cutting it a little close there, but it looks like we got it. Turning people into zombies. Really? You don't say. A lot of people dying. Not a lot of people actually converting into zombies, and I suspect a lot of that has to do with the fact that I have very low severity. We'll go for infest host, and that leads to infested zombies. While zombies are walking around, and even when rotten past that point, larvae will leave the zombie to infest other hosts. So yeah, you really have to go down this route if you want to have a chance. I'm really not sure how you're supposed to beat a a necrovirus without going for the zombies, at least at some point. Of course they decided to go to Canada. The one place where I was the weakest. That's exactly where they would go. How dare you? Okay, hang on. We could go for 50% dominance. Whereas beforehand, Scarabs could only harness about 25% of the zombies' potential, 50% is now attainable, allowing a hive mind of sorts and allowing hordes. Okay, we definitely will need that. Organized fashion. Scarabs will align traveling zombies in rows and columns so that no one gets in each other's way and slows down the horde. Speed increase. Don't care about that. I do care about having a small horde, though. What's this down here? 100% dominance. Scarabs have gained complete control of zombies, can even figure out how to work with groups of decomposed zombies in an area back in a temporary stable condition. That's the regeneration of zombies. Not especially important, though. What we really need is a lot more severity. And that's sort of the problem if you're going to do a necrovirus. Severity is really crucial. I mean, that determines the effectiveness of said zombies. So my zombies in Canada now are about to die a horrible, horrible death. And there ain't nothing I can do about it. Ain't not a dang thing! Okay, we can go for larva launcher. Zombies will fling scarabs and scarab larvae off of themselves at humans. This allows the scarab or larva to stealthily take out the humans from behind. Somehow I feel like it's almost a missed opportunity not to go for mummies in this particular scenario, you know what I mean? Maybe I'm just crazy, but it seems that way. Sweden has an extreme cold wave. I don't think it's gonna matter too much. You're devouring the populations of the world. We have to unlock their full potential, I think. That did not unlock more symptoms. I was so sure that going for the 100% potential was going to unlock some more stuff. I apparently am very wrong. Full system scan and operation. Scarabs will utilize the neural pathways and brain to also control other systems of the corpse, such as the immune system, allowing them to be reanimated, reconstitute power. No. Okay, this is just reducing decay rate and stuff like that. None of that's incredibly important to me, and we're actually accessing it kind of late, and I have such low severity. I'm really not sure how this is going to work. This is a 5-star rated thing on, this is a 5-star rated thing here, so you'd think this is going to be a little bit more important here. I guess we could go down this route and see if we can unlock something. Designated monarchies? A queen scarab is chosen for each group of scarabs in an area in order to keep an orderly fashion and controlled attacks. That all sounds well and good, but without more severity, what am I supposed to do? I don't know. A little frustrated in that sense. I mean, we did our darndest to get the entire world infected, and we actually pretty much did that. We had zombies in literally every single country. But we don't seem to be able to actually get the stuff that we need in order to get effective zombies in order to win. So maybe the alternative is forget the zombies, go for full infectivity, and there's a transmission option that will win? I mean, if so, then why go for a necrovirus? Let's see. Even more designated monarchies. This author is just really skittish about their severity. And I'm really not sure why. I think more would be appropriate here. We are losing zombies now in Libya. Let's go for designated monarchies 3. I'm not even really necessarily reading this. It has something to do with a queen choosing like a hierarchy of scarabs or something like that. You know, hive mind, like a queen bee kind of a thing, I guess. I don't know. The queen gives the most suitable host and will organize training systems for scarabs when it comes to fighting using zombies. I mean, that all sounds well and good, but I just can't get enough gas for that to matter. And that's with symptostasis, mind you. Yeah, without more severity, I'm having a heck of a time understanding how I'm supposed to win this scenario. And of course, Bolivia is having problems. Canada's now getting stronger. And no zombies left in Canada. That was sort of to be expected, at least at some point. Alright, designated monarchies leads to piercing pincers. The virus mutates host zombies to give them deadly weapons and poisons that grow on their face. They has no effect. No effect. I mean, maybe it's supposed to give them combat advantage. I would guess it's supposed to do that. But yeah, wow, we're just, woof, gosh, we're having one heck of a time. All right, I'm gonna give this one more shot. And if that doesn't work, I'll go ahead and turn on cheat mode so we can actually look at everything that was created. There's a lot of custom content in here, don't get me wrong. Like, I want to talk about this and say that this is really impressive, but I'm having a heck of a time with the fact that the severity is so gosh dang low. That's not useful to me. So, I don't know. We'll give it one more shot. But I'm starting to feel like maybe we're not gonna win this one, guys. Starting to feel like it's not gonna work. Okay, reanimating the dead a little bit early this time. So the trick that I'm using so far is instead to use, other using the ATP boost, we are going for base oxidation, which means that I'm getting more DNA from blue bubbles so that I can't run out of steam. And also, I figured out another trick. Go for blood 3 as quickly as possible. Half of this severity is due to this one transmission option. That gets you a heck of a lot more DNA out of those red bubbles. The sooner you get it, the more benefit you will have overall. Who cares if I can get into Greenland and Sweden and wherever the heck else? As long as I have zombies, I'll be able to get zombie hordes and march my way over there eventually. In the meantime, let's actually go ahead and unlock that now. Hive connection, Hive signal, stronger stuff. Good, let's go from Iceland to Greenland. Problem solved. And we now... Oh, we already had a boat go there. Never mind. Sorry, zombies. Turn right around. No, they're not going to turn around. All right, well... These people are all dead anyway. Sweden! The Germans are invading. Actually, the Danes in this particular case. That's where I clicked on. 100,000 zombies. Okay, we actually went to the hundreds of thousands pretty early on. That's not so bad. So let's go for the infested zombies. Let's go for larva launcher. We're going to try to get that extra severity as quickly as possible. Not that it really amounts to a lot, but it is something we're going to need. Let's try going from Finland to Sweden as well. Whoops. Nope. Finland to Sweden. I need to overwhelm Sweden. Because I'm pretty confident... No, I am wrong. They wanted to set up ZCOM in Italy. Fascinating. Okay, let's try to overwhelm them with some zombies as quickly as I can. Need a few 100,000 more to descend on them. Alright, we're destroying a few nations here and there. That's useful. Let's go down bloated, chameleon camouflage, and so on. By the way, I don't know why I was acting as if I have symptostasis. This is the necrovirus. Symptostasis is not a thing. Whatever. All of a sudden, we're getting a crap ton of DNA. So that's working out pretty well for me. Thank you, extra severity. Yeah, you really have to go for that blood 3. I think that's actually a serious trick to this scenario. And interestingly enough, I would actually say that this scenario is proving a little bit more challenging than some of the mega brutal scenarios that I've actually done before. Only because, maybe it's because it's not as communicated as well as it ought to be, or maybe it just actually is that difficult, but it seems there is a particular build order you're supposed to follow. I also feel like the entire transmissions thing, like, oh, your solution will probably be found in transmissions, I feel like that's a lie. I mean, maybe it is. I don't know, but either way, we're gonna go for cryptic cocoons next. Zombies become walking cocoons with arms and heads. Ew. They look silly, but the cocoon does not hinder them as much as you'd think, and this is only the beginning. Alright, we'll need 21 DNA to make that work. It'll be a little bit easier thanks to this extra DNA. Grab that. Then we have ultimate alteration. The zombies and scarabs go through the ultimate mutation, binding scarabs and their host zombies into Scarabidae sapiens, a new species of bug people. Terrifying, but the good news is, we mutated it for free. Well, that was fantastically fortuitous. Looks like we are managing to infect Italy pretty well. That extra few 100,000 zombies early on before they could establish themselves certainly did help a lot. So yeah, we found a solution here that does not require transmissions, despite what the author seemed to imply. Oh, they grew stronger in Italy. Well, that could pose a problem, but I don't think it will. I think we're going to be able to infect you completely. At this point, the only places missing are Sweden, Italy, and Norway. Sweden won't be a problem, Norway won't be a problem, and ZCOM has been destroyed in Italy. Finally, I have solved this puzzle, and we will be able to win the Hive Mind custom scenario. Okay, thoughts on this scenario so far? First off, let's just go ahead and admire that there is a tremendous amount of customization, pretty good descriptions across the board, good grammar and everything too. I mean, I don't really have a lot to complain about beyond a couple mistakes. And lots of custom symptoms and stuff, 3 different paths all leading toward a central goal, abilities and stuff like that. I mean, all in all, like, this is actually really impressive. Lots of customization went into this. An absolute ton, and I can definitely respect that. The only concern that I have about this scenario, the only real complaint, is the complete lack of severity, given that severity is going to be so important in order to get you that extra DNA in the beginning to give you enough gas to actually win, and also severity is crucial in order to fight back ZCOM, because your combat effectiveness and severity are the critical stats for your zombies and how they are going to be fighting against ZCOM and infecting other people and so on. So, it's an incredibly well done, well thought out scenario, but I would say that that is one pretty crucial flaw as far as a balance perspective. The scenario itself, I like it a lot. Like, that's pretty cool. Well done. I like this scenario. I'm not especially sure why it's called hive mind. I get that there's a queen that kind of forms a hierarchy. It doesn't feel like it's quite as much of a hive mind as much as like a scarab infestation, but okay. You know, we'll go with that anyway. It's really well done. But that severity, I think, is kind of critical. The base oxidation is what I relied on to get a bit more momentum to even have enough DNA to finish this stuff off, and then there's a suggestion that infectivity is probably the way to go, when really severity, the symptoms seems to be really important. So yes, I'll say that I enjoyed it. I absolutely did. I just feel like there's something a little bit, misleading in this particular scenario. Eviat? I don't know how you're supposed to say that one, but anyway. Yeah, just a little bit misleading. Unless, of course, I mean, we should consider this option. If we go in here and we do some cheats and turn on Ultimate Strain, right, is it possible that there's a win condition hidden inside of the transmissions, and that's what we should have been going for? And if so, it's going to be down in this area. And let's see, Wings of the Angels, and then Demonic Force leads to Neural Slowdown. Let's see, ensure scarabs have infected enough for this not to be detrimental. This might be an alternative win condition, in which case I went the hard way. It's entirely possible that that's true. Neural Slowdown 2, almost all scarab action comes to a halt, but the onslaught hasn't ended. Try not to take this too soon. Neural Slowdown 3, infected and prepare for the final phase, and then Divine Power. All scarabs reactivate now with ultimate mind control abilities. They should be able to take complete dominance over humans. So it is entirely possible that this is like a Neurax worm almost style of victory. And if I could infect the entire population of the planet, then we're good to go. In which case, it's interesting to me that the author provided a typical zombie route, which is significantly more difficult than following the transmission option and just infect the entire world. But even then, if you're gonna go down this transmission route, you have got to go for this. Look how much severity you get out of Blood 3. Like, that's more than most other symptoms in this game combined. That's a pretty big deal. So yeah. Maybe this is an option. I should test that real quick, right? Alright, let me test that real quick. Let's see if let's just on cheat mode, see if I can actually get that to work. Hang on a second. We've got our Necrovirus. Let's go ahead and activate the hordes. I'm gonna turn on everything. Extra powers, reanimations and stuff. There's a whole, oh my god, there's so much stuff. Cocoon Cranium, quadruple quadriceps. That's hilarious. I don't know why this is here, by the way. I don't seem to be able to access that. But yeah, look how many options there are. Good lord. There is a lot. Alright. Let's see if we can get a whole bunch of zombies going in here real quick. I don't know how long this is going to take. I guess I'll go ahead and zoom forward right about now. Okay, sure enough. There is actually a victory condition inside of the transmissions. Green Scarab victory. Humanity is taking control by the scarabs. Who knows what the scarabs will use them for, but certainly they will be used for something. Congratulations, you have won by evolving every green trait, earning you the Green Scarab victory down myaw. So I guess I was just trying to do things the hard way. Turns out there is a transmission option. Now I understand why the author was suggesting that your solution will likely be in transmission. I don't know if it's supposed to be like a challenge mode or something. It certainly turned out to be fairly challenging even on normal difficulty. Yeah, it's just the lack of severity does make things a little bit difficult to get enough DNA to keep up enough pressure to actually win. By the way, did I not actually win? Where's my victory screen? Oi! Well, that's awkward. I infected the entire world with the Green Scarab victory, and it's not ended. Something might be a little bit broken there. Might be. I don't know. Anyway. Very good scenario. I would just bump up the severity a little bit more to make the zombie option a bit more viable. Infectivity, maybe it's pretty good. I guess I only did it on cheat mode, so I'm not too sure. But either way, I appreciate the effort. Thank you very much for this scenario. EVIO or whatever your name was. EVIO. I don't know. Thank you all for watching. Be sure to hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. And I will see you guys next time.